Good morning, everybody. Thanks for logging in. Those of you that'll watch online later on the website, thanks for clicking in and watching. I think we've got our issue fixed there, so that should update regularly when we do a new meeting. It looked like it had quite some stale data on there when I actually checked the website the other day. So hopefully that'll be up to date and better going forward. So looking at our schedule again, we'll meet again March 15th. We didn't have a meeting at the senior center. They're getting some new flooring done, so the facility wasn't available. So we'll just go online. Looking at prices, these are based off yesterday's bids. Unfortunately, if you don't like these, you'll probably most likely see lower numbers today. Markets were pretty quiet in the overnight session. When we opened up at 6:30, things traded down and we actually were trading about 17 cents down when I came up. So I don't know that we'll see a huge slide on the exporter bids, but I definitely would anticipate um, maybe 5 to 10 cents if that holds through when we publish our bids at 9:30. So without a turnaround rally here in the nearby, I would anticipate those $6 figure for the nearby will be below that. So hate to be the bearer of bad news and doom and gloom, but it seems like that's what we've been doing lately when we talk about markets. Flipping to the export sales summary. One thing I kind of wanted to just mention, it's not huge volumes, but the new crop sales, if you look under wheat for all classes, it's 0.2 million bushels, only about 200,000 bushel. You look at the hard red though, at the minus, it was -4. It looks like swung and we gained it over on the soft red. That was most likely, um, I'm going to say, some trains going into Mexico where you had those new crop sales either got canceled. And my anticipation is one of those trains, there's probably two of them under hard red. One of them switched over to soft red. That's just my speculation, but definitely not, I would say, good news with a decent looking hard red crop coming on at this point. We have seen obviously the fires in the panhandle of Texas and feel bad for those folks. But the wheat country just north of there, it sounds like we're definitely looking at a decent crop through Kansas. I don't know if I mentioned it the last time. Some people are asking me on my thoughts on, new crop for us, what our pricing is going to be like. I'm not too price positive right now. To tell you the truth, we've got no crop scares, I would say, in the northern hemisphere. Usually at this point we're heard about, some sort of freeze out in Russia or the Black Sea region. Your dryness concerns somewhere, but with Australia coming off a decent crop, and like I said, North America, we don't really have any glaring worries anywhere in the northern hemisphere at this point. So that and the fact old crop prices keep pushing down. It'll be interesting if we can get a Egyptian tender in the coming weeks or so to see just how low those world values can go. Usually with the Black Sea and bidding on those, that's kind of our going to set the floor on things. So it would be interesting to get a refresh on that and see where it is. French wheat can compete with that, but with its value going down, I would suspect that another Egyptian tender would be even lower. If we take a look at the other info we usually look at here, white wheat, um, decent week at 2.4. It's nothing to um, shake our head at. And jumping in to that soft white page, I apologize, I don't have the page numbers on there. Taking a look down, looks like just strictly routine business for us for the week. That 2.4 million bushels made up of, Japan, Philippines, and a little jag to South Korea. Export business has been slow this week. Really haven't heard a whole lot on the wires about open tenders or anything like that. Talking about some of our nearby cash prices. Sorry, I should have made a list, some of my notes I wanted to hit, but we do have the lower Columbia Snake system, just the Columbia actually will be closed starting this weekend for the 2-week routine maintenance. That's coming off. We've already had everything upriver of McNary closed for about the last 10 weeks, I want to say, on some major, repairs on those lock systems. I haven't heard any updates or warnings that we're not going to open on time. So I would anticipate that here in 2 weeks, the entire river system will open back up. We've been busy shipping barges. Those of you who've been around Wasco, we've seen a couple ground piles disappear and go to the river. Seen some trucks on the road trying to pull the little bit of low protein we've got stored around the country, getting it down to the elevators to mix with some of the higher pro to hit our barge targets. It's getting pretty tough to make a 10.5 barge based on the crop we've got in the elevator right now. So we're probably, most of the stuff we're looking to sell going forward is 11 maximum 11 and 11.5s, which there's some of that business out there. It's not strictly, the 10.5 business. It's at a slight discount, but it's kind of what we've been looking at. Other info, I just threw a little blip in that came across on the last page of the packet. I don't know that it's anything new, but it hits the waiver wires, I think, when you see China pop up on there, and some of their research they're doing looks like to me it's basically changing up the structure of the actual wheat seed, making it bigger, obviously more yield. If they're able to grow more wheat there, it could be bad news for us down the road. Some of the people on this call probably remember the days of Russia when going over and helping them grow more wheat, and obviously that's not been good for our local prices with more wheat in the world. But looks like China is definitely continuing to try to boost their own production, which they are the largest producer of wheat in the world. Obviously gets consumed within their country. But with that, if Jacob's got any updates, I'll shift it over to him, and then we'll circle back up before I log off.
Thanks, Justin. Good morning, everybody on Zoom here. Not many huge updates for me. I've kind of attempting to wrap up most of my workshops for the season before people start getting busier in the field, hopefully soon here coming up in March. I did just want to remind people that the Oregon Wheat Growers League in Sherman County SWCD, they're having their annual growers meeting for both wheat growers in both Wasco and Sherman counties. That's going to be happening next Tuesday, March 5th, starting at 5 p.m. at the Sherman County Fairgrounds in the new building there in Morrow at the fairgrounds. So it's starting at 5 p.m. The official dinner starts at 6 o'clock with agency updates at 5:30. So just encourage people and reminding you to come to that if you're available and interested that evening. Other updates, I did my spring pesticide training the other day that we really try to focus on stripe rust management and other disease management materials coming up this year. Just it continues to look like a good year for disease development with how warm and wet we continue to be. That could change later, but definitely looks like if you have susceptible stripe rust varieties, you're going to be wanting to mix in some propiconazole at the bare minimum in with your spring herbicide applications when you finally get out in the field and you're able to put those applications down. So definitely have some fungicide in that. It'll be interesting to see. Dr. Chen WSU always comes out with another stripe rust update middle of March. So it'll be interesting to see what he has to say then. But definitely the vibe so far is you're going to want to put it on with spring herbicide, and he might have some additional updates in mid-March, depending on how bad it's going to be. So he's using the word severe epidemic levels. But again, if you are using varieties that are not susceptible, you should be fine. And if you are using varieties that are susceptible, just make sure you got plenty of propiconazole on hand with spring herbicide timing, and be prepared to put it on later as well. And I know there's just a lot of acres planted with Voodoo. That Voodoo came out initially kind of as being, this good fix on the stripe rust issues that Magic had. But I think over the years we're finding that its susceptibility is also rated as a 8, so it's definitely classified as very, very much a susceptible variety. That's, you're just use a lot of propiconazole on it. I think we should be fine. But if you don't get those fungicide applications done timely, we could definitely see some yield hits because of it. So just keep that in mind. That's kind of really all I've got, Justin. Yeah, good luck with everybody when we can finally get in the fields here soon if it stops raining. The rain's good though, so.
Perfect. Thanks, Jacob. I guess that probably wraps up all I've got for today. Don't see any questions out there. Like I said, we'll meet again in 2 weeks on March 15th, and we should be back to our normal group in Morrow for anybody that wants to show up at 7 o'clock, and then Zoom meeting starting at 7:20. So with that, everybody have a safe
Hey,
weekend.
Justin.
Yes.
Just chiming in here too, I did forget to mention, this is kind of more for a regional crowd, but if anybody locally here on the call is interested, I'm doing a webinar this afternoon on the biofertilizer research that I've done this past year. So I always try to get that wrapped into some pesticide training. I don't have time to really talk about it. So I'm just doing a webinar this afternoon. If anybody here is interested, shoot me an email. I can give you the details. I believe it's from 12:30 to 1:30 this afternoon. So that's all. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks, Jacob. Okay. With that, we will go about our days, and we'll talk to you 2 weeks. Thank you.